to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, so welcome everybody to the March 23rd meeting of the City Council. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. Everybody please take out your cell phones and put those to vibrate or just turn them off. We don't want your cell phones ringing. For our veterans that come to regular council meetings, we can guarantee you that somebody's cell phone will go off.
We got parking days on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm trying to find parking. I get home at 8 o'clock in the morning. Parking regulation starts, off to the side of parking regulation starts, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm driving from Central Boulevard all the way to First Street trying to find parking space. I can't find parking space because everything's taken up already. These street cleaners need to be on the streets by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, cleaning the street. But once the streets are clean, we should be able to park on Monday or Tuesday side. I'm picking up tickets for money that I could be saving in my pocket for something that I want in my life. There's no reason why we should have to wait 4 hours to park on the alternate side of the street waiting for street cleaners to clean. I think there should be some type of regulation between the people who give out the tickets and the people who clean the streets. We spoke about this at the Women's Day meeting, we talked. When that street is clean, it should be regulated to the traffic people that that street is clean. People can now park on that side of the street. 4 hours to wait. And I'm working, instead of working an 8-hour shift, I'm working a 12-hour shift because I gotta stay for another 4 hours just so I can park on the side of the street that should have been cleaned by 9 o'clock. It's only one side of my running that needs to be cleaned, or one side of my running only has a Monday and Tuesday side regulation. You put 4 or 5 trucks out there, it should be done. People are not, I don't have the money to come out my pocket every day for tickets. Then when I do want to pay a ticket to avoid the extra, and I ain't got the money, but I got a credit card or debit card, we don't take credit cards. Catch up. The future, everybody does debit cards. You pay food stamps with debit cards. I mean, they need an ATM machine there. They need, if they're not going to take credit cards or debit cards, they need an ATM machine downstairs so we can take the money out and pay and don't get hit with the heavy fine. These are some of the ideas that need to be incorporated into this parking situation. And it needs something, it's something that can be done now. It's not something that we have to sit there and talk about it. It's simple. There's nothing to be, don't need to sit there and debate about it. It's something that can be done and regulated within a month or two. I'm going to continue to talk about the parking situation here because I think it's, my friend is overcrowded. You got a unit, you got 5 or 6 buildings. This is where I live, just in general. Right around where I live at Union Avenue, off of Union Avenue, 4th Street. You got 4 or 5 buildings there. 40 units in almost each building. You got mothers and fathers who both got cars. That's a lot of parking being taken up. Then you got residential housing on top of that. The residential people, they can pull their cars in their driveway. But then it still leaves a lot of crowding for people who don't have that parking. You look at projects, Douglas Towers, they got a big parking structure. You look at right over here in Germantown now, they got parking structures. You got all these 5 or 6 story units with 40 to 50 units, buildings with 40 to 50 units in them, and there's no parking available for us. You know, and I think it's a shame because, like I said, I live there. I love where I live at. It's quiet. But every time I come up in the morning or I got to come home and, get some rest, I'm walking to a $60 and $70 parking ticket. I don't have that type of money. I'm always living from paycheck to paycheck. But just when I think I got enough money to buy me some clothes or I got to go pay a ticket. And then when I do want to pay a ticket, we don't take credit cards. We don't take debit cards. Why? Because they leave a paper trail? I don't understand the reason why we don't. But something needs to be done. And like I said, I want to be in almost every council meeting just to talk about it because it's something that can be rectified quickly. And it's a shame that, my brother's overcrowded. I understand they got bills to pay with these tickets, but some of these tickets should just be avoided because they don't make no sense.
160 South 6th Avenue. Kristen Reed.
Good evening, Council. Kristen Reed, 548 South 2nd Avenue, Melbourne. Here. Good evening. Since the last time I spoke at a meeting, I met with Recreation Commissioner Morton concerning issues about Key tenants and recreation in general. I offered suggestions for some of the issues I specified and plan to meet with the Commissioner again to follow up on the use of the tennis courts by Pelham residents and the cost of recreation for non-Mount Vernon residents, since we are actually barred from participating in Pelham recreation due to mandatory residency requirements. This evening, I'd like to speak on the issue of code enforcement and how the lack of any affects the residents of Mount Vernon. I'd like to know why when you exit Hutchison Parkway on Sanford Boulevard, there's a Best Jerk Chicken sign tied to Memorial Field's gate rather than any signage that says welcome to Mount Vernon. This would not be allowed in any other city. Go up the block a little further and another Jerk Chicken sign is wrapped around the plans for the new stadium. Again, this is the best representation of our city. Go up a little further and you'll finally reach the jerk chicken being cooked in a grill in a parking lot on a major commercial street. Again, what other city would this be allowed in? The worst offenders regarding signage are the politicians that do not take down their signs after elections. The school board still hasn't removed their signs from the bond road. The streets are littered with taxi signs and leave out houses signs and who knows how many other signs. Street signs are unreadable because of promotion stickers placed on the front of them. The most disturbing would be the hood bang film ads seeking amateurs that are posted around the city. Last year, the mayor of Rochelle noticed the same signs being placed around Iowa campus and called the news to do a story because he was worried about the influence of these signs on young adults. Well, in Mount Vernon, the same exact flyers pasted on street signs all over in the Heights near Graham School, at the stop sign at Benjamin Turner Middle School, and many, many other places. If you haven't noticed, it just speaks to the fact that litter in Mount Vernon is par for the course. While zombie homes are a real problem, so are zombie businesses. The businesses that were destroyed by fires on Fulton Avenue and 3rd Street and Sanford Boulevard between 5th and 6th Avenue have yet to be demolished, in stark comparison to Sal's Deli, which was cleared in 3 days. The businesses that insurance was paid out should be responsible for demolishing these structures, as they are just as dangerous, if not more so, and definitely more of an eyesore than the zombie homes. The city does a great job of keeping our fields and parks clean and our streets swept. They do not do a good job at all of holding owners accountable for the neatness of their property. Only when an apartment building tenants complain of high grass next to their building and rodent infestation do the city threaten the lot owners with a summons. Does the lot get cleared? How about no threatening and just finding? Code enforcement doesn't cite for lawns not being clipped or landlords and commercial businesses such as CVS, by far the worst in the city, for not cleaning up trash on their property. Maybe if landlords receive citations, they'd be more inclined to keep their property neat and provide a higher standard of living for their residents and inspire more pride. I've also noticed random blue trash bags tied to chain link fences throughout the city. While I acknowledge the effort, this is hardly acceptable and again wouldn't be acceptable in neighboring cities. Also, of course, should be traffic routes up and down Sanford Boulevard, 18-wheelers park overnight. There's some large trucks that use residential streets that should be off limits to them, mainly 7th Street between 4th and 5th Avenue, near Rebecca Turner Elementary School. The result is an extremely dangerous intersection at that corner, which is my daughter's school, which doesn't even have a crosswalk painted. I tried to request it last week. And the tearing down of just about every tree on that block along utility lines. Yes, increased code enforcement would be a pain to anyone receiving citations, but if the city notified residents that this would be stepping up and provided them some guidelines and a little bit of leeway to begin with, the result would be a city that we could all take pride in. But how can the city hold residents accountable to standards that they don't uphold? In closing, remove the jerk chicken signs. Move the jerk chicken operation to the back of Poppy's Deli. Demand that politicians remove their signs following elections. If they can pay to have people put them out, they can pay to have people pick them up. Remove stickers from the city signs, fine businesses that hang unauthorized signs. Stop whoever is hanging those blue trash bags around the city. Cite residential and commercial property owners with an emphasis on apartment buildings and commercial for failure to keep their property clean. And lastly, actual monitor and follow up. To kick off this new initiative, I propose a city cleanup day and would be happy to speak in more detail with the mayor and council. And lastly, 15 seconds on a separate issue. I, along with most people in the room, read the article in the Journal News on former Commissioner Anthony Beauvais. I would like to know why, when it was first confirmed that he defrauded the city with an illegal pay raise, he wasn't fired. More importantly, I do not think it's time to close the chapter on Mr. Beauvais. I think it's pretty obvious that he was desperate for money. And if he was willing to request money from a city employee, I can only imagine that he wouldn't have thought twice about taking bribes from people wanting to dump waste to Memorial Field. I think that Mr. Beauvais should be interrogated and forced to disclose the names of those that he took bribes from, and the city should sue those people for the money needed to clean up
That's a hard act to follow.
She's not acting. Everything.
AJ was in 342 South 7th Avenue. The block she's talking about, the trucks, the trees. Our government on the federal, state, and local level was created to be one of checks and balances. To ensure a separation of power, the government is made up of three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. To ensure the government is effective and citizen rights are protected, each branch has its own power and responsibility, including working with the other branches. Now, I understand many feel the mayor has burned bridges with his fellow councilmen, the controller of the former mayor when he was on the council, and some feel he's burning bridges with the new council as mayor. My biggest critique of Mayor Rich Thomas has to be that he had the rare opportunity of being the only mayor, or one of the only mayors that could be wrong, to first serve on the council before being elected mayor. He, more than any other mayor of the city, should not only understand but respect the relationship between executive and legislative branch, as he now serves as mayor. To paraphrase Dr. Baskerville in the latest article in Black Westchester, after months of feuding between the city council and Mayor Thomas, during the past week, both sides have taken steps towards a legal showdown that can end up plunging the city into a full-blown constitutional crisis. Though this clash has been a long time coming in the making, it stretches back to the dirtiest mayoral race that captivated the city's attention last year. The immediate cause of it is the unprecedented challenge the council mounted to the legal standing of several Thomas commissioners. Fueled by the combustible mix of incompatible personalities and political principles, neither side is showing any sign that is willing to back down. Indeed, both sides insist that their unwillingness to compromise over this matter is grounded in the legal principles derived directly from the city charter, the city's highest law. To the mayor, I say, for the record, you are considered the leader of the city, the CEO of Mount Vernon, if you will. I publicly say here what I said to you when I first met you in August 2014. If it was your wishes to become mayor, you would have to be able to galvanize around the troops behind you. The voters who voted for you and the voters who didn't vote for you. You are the mayor of all citizens of Mount Vernon, not just those who voted for you. Simply put, you are the leader that was voted by the people, including myself, and now you must lead. You campaigned on how bad the city was and how you were going to change it if we elected you. We have, and now we expect you to do what you can with what you have to make the city better, as you promised in your campaign trail. It's important to remember history, but not continuously bring it up. At some point, we expect you to roll up your sleeves and to do what needs to be done. But let's be clear, in no way does that entail unilaterally trying to make moves without the city council or the controller, but to work with them. It doesn't matter at this point who said what and who did what in the past. But what are you going to do in the future? As the leader, you have to find a way to work with those who you need to work with to get the job done. My mother, God rest her soul, always told me when I was younger, in life, you will always have to work and get along with people you don't like. That's just a fact of life. If you're in the role of leadership, you have to do what you have to do what's best for the city and put your personal feelings aside for the betterment of the city. Now, to the council, I warn, the steps you have taken, which are well within your rights, roles, and responsibility in gathering facts and even serving subpoenas, a move that has rarely been done previously as far as I can remember. I urge you to follow through all the way, wherever it takes you. You should not get into this fight unless you are prepared to go all the way. If not, you are setting a dangerous precedent, both to those who get served in the future and to the city council that follow you. You cannot make a bold move like this and not carry all the way through. If there's no outcome from your actions, it will be looked at and perceived as much to do about nothing and just blowing smoke up our collective asses. Several individuals were served, and more importantly, no action was taken. Didn't show up. And more importantly, nothing was done. So basically, you're telling the public and those served in the future, there's no need to honor, respect, or even answer a subpoena from the Mount Vernon Council. I'm going to skip all the way to the end. To those who question my role and others who critique the city and media, The media is the fourth estate, the fourth power, and is considered the fourth pillar of the state all over. People look to us for answers, but it's not our job to give you answers, but to ask the hard questions and present to the public the facts so that the public can have informed debates and make informed decisions. It's our job to hold the government's feet to the fire to uncover what has been hidden to the public. Media plays a critical role in shaping a healthy democracy. It is the backbone of democracy. Media makes us aware of various social, political, and economic activities happening around us. It is a mirror which shows us, or should strive to show us, the bare truth and harsh realities. That's my open letter to everybody.
Caitlin O'Keefe. Caitlin O'Keefe.
Hi, Kathleen O'Keefe, 85 William Street, Cleveland. I wanted to speak about two things today that are a little concerning. Quite honestly, the last young lady's issues about the Jose and the water really kind of stirred things up today. Needless to say, I'm sure things were busy around here today, so I won't go on as well as she did about it. So I just want to say we are aware of it and something needs to be done because it's clear that there were some problems. Which really kind of brings me to my point, which is last year's audit by the State Controller's Office of the payroll. And I just haven't heard any of the results of anything that's gone on to fix things and make things better. Now, I'm not going to take all the time because I know you guys all have it and I don't need to give you a copy of it. But one of the things that said was supposed to happen is that the City Council is supposed to develop written policies. There's supposed to be payroll duties and time recording and improvements and things. And anything that was in the response alluding to anything that was going to happen kind of was redacted. So I don't really know what happened in this. So considering this young man's story today on the front page of the newspaper, and I have to get all these emails about it, I think that it's really time that there's a serious investigation into what kind of financials this city really is in, because it's clear that nobody's watching what's going on. Because if this could happen here, who knows what's going on in any other department? And as I've said many times, the $35,000 that was stolen from the school lunch program in a school district that does not have cash, $500 a day missing from the funds, has been obvious right off. As Ms. Mack will say, I ran the district's lunch program for many years ago, so I can tell you right now, missing $500 a day, somebody in that board event or somebody who was in time in keeping was not paying attention. So it really seriously needs to be investigated. And considering that Kripa Ahma was involved in Mr. Beauvais' situation, I think that you guys would really want to have your stuff in order and not have people like me bringing this up and the people that are here bringing this up to your attention. So I would like to find out what the results of, did you get a new program? Are these people still just timing in and saying, oh yeah, I wasn't on vacation, but put me in? How much time have we really lost? Because with the 100 people that were audited, we lost $150,000. So when there's 900 employees, times that by, 10 just on the regular thing, you're talking about a lot of money that could have been used to go to the DPW to fix the streetlights that have been out for the past 2.5 years on my block. I had one 3-month period approximately where the light was on. Now, there's 2 lights right next to each other at an intersection at the corner of William Street and North Terrace, and the light right below that. I've come to this city council many times. I've called, I've emailed, I've done everything. It's embarrassing that, again, money should be there to fix the streetlights, because it's not only here. It makes me wonder what happened. Why did that lady get killed just around the corner? How many lights were out over there? You have to have a murder or a death to be the reason to put in new streetlights, especially since wasn't there some kind of trip that went on with North Korea and everybody went there to find out something about streetlights? I mean, I might be wrong, I don't know. But I think that something has to be done with what's going on with the money, with the Department of DPW, with the payroll, with Question Parkway. Come on, the road's a mess. I don't understand how anybody here can say they haven't been there. It's ridiculous. There's no control when the trains come in. at least have a cop directing some kind of traffic. If people walk out, somebody's gonna get killed. You already have one killed off the block. If you want another one, keep up doing what you do. Thank you very much.
Dolores Matt.
Good evening, President Griffin, City Council, and clerks and community. My name is Dolores Mack. I reside at 55 Airbar Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. I was here, well, last month. I'm trying to get back on the roll after, being on the roll for 38 years, attending my first meeting in 1977. The first thing is City Hall security. Again, we got to look at not only the city of Mount Vernon, but the world. Things have changed, some for the good and some for the bad. I feel this building, you go to other, city halls all over Westchester County, this building is too open. It's still on TV, worried about, who lock you out, and the keys, we need to get out that system. We need, cards, a more sophisticated system. This building is too open. Like I said, the world has changed, the city of Mount Vernon has changed. We don't need no incident here, some bodily harm to our employees or residents coming into this building. Really, you should take into consideration with getting out the keys and padlock syndrome and go to electronic cards or whatever. And everybody doesn't need a card because they work in city hall. Certain officials and certain employees need them, and you really should think about that because people, get teed off without taxes or anything, any little thing. God forbid they come in here, please take that into consideration because it's your safety and the residents' safety is the employees' safety. Again, is there any update on the checks that was missing from, between the controller and the mayor's office? That needs to be looked into. I know one lady was caught getting a check from Brooklyn, 23 years old. It was 15 checks in all. Where's the investigation going on? They'll sit there and say that's all right, don't exist anymore. Is there any update? Memorial Field, I asked again, like I asked last month, I'm 59 years old, and will Memorial be done in my lifetime? Again, my 38 years being active here in the city I was born and raised in, the saga continues. When is it going to end? I mean, I'm talking about all politicians, city officials. It took an oath to serve the people in this 4-point square mile we call Mount Vernon home. When is it going to end if you work together? You don't have to sleep together, but you took an oath. I mean, listening to sometimes I don't even want to watch our local news, what's going on, but I did watch it last week to listen to an editorial, and the Republican man hit it on the nose. He sat there and said the people of the city of Mount Vernon want safer streets. He was talking about Mount Vernon. Broader tax base that brings some revenue, taxes, and good quality of life. Not what we see on TV with checks missing and getting locked out of City Hall with keys and stuff. Quality of life, the stuff that we, the people, deserve to get lucky to do. Please, because I'm sick and tired of saying the saga continues. Let's get it on. I mean, we all don't have to sleep together, but we got to work with the mayor. 74% of the people, I did not support him, but 74% of the people went to the polls and said, yes, we want to change, and Mayor Thomas is our mayor. We have to work with him regardless, and we got to put all this stuff aside and work. If he's doing a bad job, can be replaced, but got to work together because the people have a right to be able to do a job. And
That's right.
I don't want to say the saga continues. Let's stop it. Thank you.
Yep, that's right.
Thank you, Mrs. Mack. Mary Reed.
That's ridiculous.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Reed. I live at 37 North Fifth Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, zip code 10550.
Excuse me, Ms. Reed.
First of all, I'd like to speak.
Mrs. Reed, just a second. Folks are talking back there. It's very clear. I can hear you. Just try to refrain from talking, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Reed.
First of all, I would like to speak in terms of the report that I have made about the damage and the stolen merchandise and everything that was done in my apartment, and that the last one that I made, there was no report, and that I had got numerous reports, and I went through the Department of the Law, and they have dismissed the reports or whatever. I'm not able to obtain them again because the ones that I had been taken out of my apartment, and numerous other documents pertaining to the status of living and so forth, which I have spoken on before. And something needs to be did about this because, number one, the corruption is coming from the head of housing. And this is continuously to happen. Even though one is gone, there is another one left behind. And this is continuously to happen. And Dennis Henry is no help to us as a whole. He's supposed to be assisting us in whatever form or fashion that he's supposed to be assisting us, but he's doing more damage than he's doing good. There was a meeting in the building this week pertaining to the president of the Tenants Association meeting so far. He had this lady that's working with him to come in there and try to corrupt the meeting, stating to them that they got to work with housing. How can they represent housing and the tenants? Someone, I mean, it's no point in paying dues, and they're supposed to be representing us, and he telling them that they got to do what housing wants them to do. That if housing get mad with them, this gonna happen or that gonna happen. Something has to be did about this, because this has been going on for numerous of years, many years. I would imagine ever since it begun. Ever since that I've been there, it's been corrupted, and from what I acknowledge, it was corrupted far before. Even we suspect some of the deaths are being done through the housing. And this is ridiculous. I'm quite sure y'all heard about the gentleman that was killed here, that expired here, that was shot. They claimed that he killed himself, and it was stated, someone came personally to me and stated that that man did not kill himself, and they would bet their life on it. And something has to be done to protect these people. They're not safe. There's drugs, as I said before, floating around in there. There's people living double up in apartments and so forth, and housing the new ones that we have in the office now is no better than the ones that have been exonerated from the country. If anything, they're worse. They continue with the same thing and harassing you, because they can get one thing, and instead of them investigating, all you're getting stressed. All they're going to do is try to, give you get you a 72-hour notice to try to get you out of the system, and try to get you at a weak point when you're ill and you can't get around to move or protect yourself. And something has to be did. Somebody has to intervene and help these citizens, because some of these people are not able to speak or do for themselves. And some of them are in dementia, and they're totally being taken advantage of. There's one, the door down from me, and I understand that someone has supposed to have had power of attorney of her access, and her rent haven't been paid in 4 months, and they have changed her bank account to a point now that they can no longer get it. But someone has to step up and do something instead of standing to the side, insinuating that someone is not understanding or speaking the truth on these matters. I'm not in dementia, and I'm functioning very well, and I see what's going on with my own eyes. And when I go to come to the system, I can't get the reports. The ones that I got there, as I stated, was confiscated, and then I can't get them no more. Where are they?
Thank you, Mrs. Reed.
Someone has to see them.
We're going to go back to the list. I'm going to ask the gentleman here, Sal Marino. Just spell out your last name. I'm going to make sure we have to correct you on the record.
It's Auricchio, A-U-R-I-C-C-H-I-O.
What's your address, sir?
283 Summit Avenue, Mount Vernon.
Okay, you're not here. You're not on the list, sir.
Oh, I thought it was me, it's very soon.
Did you call in to speak?
Yes,
And what time did you call in?
like right before 3,
Right before 3.
that was the deadline.
All right, counsel, is it okay?
Yes.
Counsel?
You know, he's speaking on some of the issues that have already been spoken on the Burger King.
I don't know what he's speaking on, sir. What are you speaking on?
I would like to discuss fast food establishments in my
Okay, that's fine. So what we have here just isn't correct then.
Yeah, there's a sound Marino that was called. And I see that there's a Mr. Marino here, and I'm wondering if he's representing him, is that?
I will be very brief.
All right, that's fine. So we have ordered a quorum here, so we're definitely going to let you speak, sir. But we have a list here, and we'd like to keep our rules, so you're not on our list. And simple solution, all I do is just call the council and ask them, is it okay for you to speak? And if the council says yes, then it's yes. So we're not trying to hold things up or not hear anything. We just want to go with the list and find out why your name isn't on the list. We want to make sure that we have a complete list of, when you're coming forward. So for that, I'm just going to, yes. Right, so I'm going to, again, take your name. So I want to have your name and address here. It's not printed already. I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to ask you to go ahead. So again, give your name one more time.
Sal Riccio, 283 Summit Avenue.
And just spell your last name for me.
AURICCHIS.
And then, again, your address?
283 Summit.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Hello, Mount Vernon City Council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here to oppose the proposition of continued fast food establishments throughout Mount Vernon. And most recently, I came to attend the earlier March planning board, which was later canceled, on the establishment for South Columbus Avenue. Everyone can do something that will help to create food environments that will guarantee the health of our children and our community. It's hard not to get depressed over the politics of food these days, given the massive power of food industry. But I'm saddened going down Prospect Avenue and seeing Louisiana Kitchen and Domino's and Popeyes, and I want to see more healthy ingredients in food establishments, and your mom and pop restaurants have them. And there are plenty out there that want the opportunity to come into my work. I would like to have the planning board reopen their meeting that was originally planned to discuss that site. Now, there's plenty of articles which I have, and there's many university studies which I came to prepare that day to bring, which I was not allowed. And I would like to say that the farmers market that you guys do in front of City Hall is great, but we need a lot more of those. So please consider my proposition. Thank you.
Thank you. And just going down the list, Paul Henry, 418 East Sanford Boulevard. Dorothy Fiorello, I didn't see coming. Josephine Paul, I'm going to give the address of 460 South 6th Avenue. No? Okay. So at this time, we're going to have responses from the council. I'm going to begin with Councilman Andre Wallace.
Thank you, Council President. Ms. Bailey, regarding the Burger King, I'm glad you came because I didn't even know about the Burger King and I sit on council. So obviously, information about this stuff is not getting around. I know the planning meetings were canceled. At the moment, we didn't have a planning commissioner, so there was really nobody around that we could ask these questions to. But that I can't speak on, but I will start to ask a little bit of questions about it to find out what's going on with that Burger King. This branch regarding the press, the cameras and stuff in the building. We had that conversation last night and in discussion about that with the cameras. First of all, I can't speak for the whole council, but what I would speak for myself, I will not vote for anything like that. I do not agree with that. And I think it is a problem when we start to draw that fine line between freedom of speech and taking away people's rights. This is a public building. You have the right to access this building because this building belongs to the public. That's why it's called a public building. So basically, we cannot look at stopping everybody from being able to film and do things, or film on the steps of City Hall. People have been doing that for years. We are not going to get into taking away people's rights. I don't agree with that. That's my position on it. But like I said, I don't speak for the whole council. That is my position. Pete, regarding the 50-something zombie homes, I've been looking around Mount Vernon, I think at best I can find about 12 or 13. I don't know where these 15 homes are. Maybe one of yours might be knocked down. I'm not sure yet. So we're going to look into that and see what's going on because I have not found those homes. Also, regarding the towing incident, we did sit back and got a report from Commissioner Kelly on that reporting of the tow trucks. I am not happy with it. I made it clear I'm not happy with it. I made it clear that I will continue to look into this towing issue until those people are reimbursed their money and until we find out and get to the bottom of it, because basically I still don't feel like that whole thing is come to a closure. It is not right. I understand your situation as well and some of the other guys' situation. So that is not something that I'm just going to say, okay, we're going to push it aside and look at it as being done. So we will continue to look into it. I know Councilman Edwards, has worked on that tow truck thing. He's got the report as well. He saw the report. I don't think he was that happy with it as well. It's okay, but not that happy. If, we will continue to talk about that and see what we can do. Dr. Bob, regarding the residency, okay, the residency requirements is basically going to be enforced. It is not something that we are going to take lightly. It is things that are on the charter that need to be enforced. Just an hour ago, the mayor came in here and said, his words were, not my words, his words were, we want to stop past failed practices. This is failed practices from the past. Now, I don't understand one thing where he says that we're going to stop that failed practices, but today we get a lawsuit to come to court tomorrow regarding that he wants to put a restraining order on us to stop us from enforcing the charter. I don't understand. So either you're going to stop the past practices or you're not going to stop them. The council has taken a position that we feel that the residency requirements is necessary. The problem is this, okay? Mount Vernon has been doing things so wrong for so long that we now think that it's right, and it's wrong. And I know I'm getting into it, and I have arguments and debates with folks, but the law is the law, and we cannot start to change the law, disobey the charter. That is why our town is in the shape it's in now. That's right. Because we do not follow the laws. We need to follow a charter. It was put together for us to follow, and if we are going to decide to vote to be a lawless town, please somebody let me know, because I'm going to go home, get my 6 shoot and head to the bed before anybody else get there. Because this is not how we are supposed to behave. There is rules and regulations, and we must follow those rules and regulations. Period. And if you don't like them, then you are to come to the council with a suggestion on what you want to do and how we can change it, and maybe we can write legislation to make that happen. That is why we have a legislation branch. So, I'm not going to say much more about that. Damon Jones, we will continue to work on the CCRB. I agree with you 100%. I don't think it should be under the police department. There should be a separate situation, but we have been working on it with the police department. I've been working on that with Yana Edwards as well, Councilman Edwards. And we will continue to look into it and work on it until we get it right. So it's not something that we are not working on. We are steadily working on that and trying to make it happen. I know Councilman Edwards continues to work on that more than I do because he's the actual chair of that department. Ms. Gaines.
Mr.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Gaines. I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
I've already started drafting some stuff regarding double parking. I think that the city that needs to understand that it's time to allow people to start to double park because there is too many cars in the city at this point. We should be able to figure this out within the police department and our traffic studies and find this out by now, because you can let people double park up to 10, 11 o'clock. It'll give the sweeper a chance to come down the street, and then everybody can move their cars back. There is a lot of problems in the streets. We don't have enough parking. We know that. I live in Fleetwood. I watch this like musical chairs going around and around and around with the cars all day long, trying to find a spot. So that's something that we need to, address. We need to look further into it and have the police department find out which streets we can do it on and how we can get this stuff done. And stop talking about it and stop ticketing people.
Right.
Christian Reed. I agree with everything you said. Before I was a councilman, I stood up there at the same podium and I went off on code enforcement. I've taken pictures, I've handed the pictures in, I've handed the charter, I went through every last thing to show all the laws that are being broken. The ones from the store windows, to the sidewalk garbage, to the garbage being put out, to the, you name it, I put it already in there. It is time for us to enforce it. We spoke about things last night because I had an issue with dumpsters being illegally parked. And people, we discussed maybe we need to start increasing the violations and the fines and enforcing them. Because of the simple fact that if you don't enforce anything, what good is it? People are just going to do it again and again and again. And I had a big, and I'll say it to everybody that's here now that I said last night. If they don't want to move these dumpsters and do all of that stuff, I'm going to do Michelle now because I'm going to bring all my equipment here and park my trucks on the street. I have a backhoe and everything, and maybe I'll bring the rock, crush it. And it'd just be all right. I'll just leave it there. No license plate. Because we are lawless. So if it's good for one person, it should be good for everybody. That's right. Now, if we're not going to do that, then let's enforce this stuff and let's get it right. And before, one other thing regarding, and I'm going to say this in general because a lot of people I know spoke on Beauvais in the news and all. Beauvais was one of the people mentioned also in my 75-page report of Memorial Field for the illegal dumping. That is not something that I'm going to overlook anymore. That is not something that I've stopped looking at. I pass Memorial Field pretty much every single day because I drop my son off school and then I go over there just to see what's going on and if there's any changes. And sometimes there are changes. There haven't been any lately, thank God. But we do have to get on top of it. I have a bet with some friends, and I opened my mouth and I told them, if the Tappan Zee Bridge is built before Memorial Field, I'll take you to breakfast for the next year. And I just went to Palisade Mall, and that bridge is 3/4 of the way. I'm scared to death. Because I might be broke. And we're still sitting here playing games around Memorial Field. We got to get it right. Only thing that I can say about Beauvais is, they got them before I did. So that's it. But, we'll be talking about that more, and hopefully, we'll put in some subpoenas and have some of the other folks to get in here and question about Memorial Field so we can move forward with that. Cake plan. Basically, if you let me know where the street lights is, I chair with the DPW. I go in there tomorrow and I'll write a letter and then go in there and try to get these street lights up, because we got to find out what the numbers are. So maybe I'll pass your neighborhood, look at the number on it, and then report. So just tell me where it is actually go and get the number myself, because I ain't gonna wait for everybody else to do it. All right, and Dolores Mack, still looking into the checks. I did have a conversation with Commissioner Kelly a few days ago about it, to ask him where it is and what's happening. And, you know, he gave us information that they have subpoenaed some records, and they're looking for some stuff, and they're waiting for things to come back. So that investigation is ongoing, and it is happening. So sometimes things may not look like they're happening, because people are not talking about it, people aren't saying anything, but the police are investigating, and they are still, you know, on top of it. So that's not gonna go away. And, you know, I can't say much more about Memorial Field. I just hope that the bridge don't pass. That's all I'm saying, it's getting close. So that's about it I'm gonna say. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank everybody for coming tonight. And stay tuned.
Hey, don't leave yet. I mean, we still have comments from John Edwards and Councilwoman Lisa Copeland, and I get to speak to her. Not everybody. All right, don't go yet. Don't go yet. Councilman Yana, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I too would like to thank the citizens of Mount Vernon and those who come outside of Mount Vernon to participate tonight. Joanne Bailey. I live on. Okay, I'm reading from this. Okay, Ms. Bradley, sorry. I live on Newport Avenue, and I've been living there going on 38 years. And I remember when I belonged to the 400 Concerned Citizens Block Association. So I think you said you're on Tecumseh? Yeah. All right, so you're right on the top of the hill. All right? And I remember when our association fought to keep KFC from there. And I remember also at a meeting saying to the association, let's buy that lot, okay? And then we can control what's there. Unfortunately, we can't control private people coming in unless it's against the zoning, okay? If the zoning is such, then it goes before the planning board. I had to ask my colleague, who was a city clerk at one time, do these people have to go before the zoning board? Because this council and our council president wrote a letter to try to stop Chase Bank from moving, okay? But it was too late, okay? And I think once we found out that was moving, then people should have jumped up and said, no, we use the bank, keep it here. But no one came out to say, don't leave. They came out after the fact and it was too late, okay? Unfortunately, we cannot stop private concerns from coming in. Just like we had a meeting where they didn't want to put housing down at Wilson Wood School, that area, okay? We can't stop that if someone comes in with the right idea. And I said to the audience, the people here, you know, let's put some money together, maybe we can stop it and put a catering hall there. We just can't do that. The city, that's not something that the city does, okay? And because, go back to KFC, all right? KFC has been there for how long? Been there for a long time, right? We haven't had no problems with it, and people shop there, okay? Burger King is a major business to come into our city, major all over the world, okay? So if anything, we want someone that's stable, that's gonna be there, that's gonna put up a structure that looks good and presents to the neighborhood. And I can see people like Poppy's Deli and people in the neighborhood say, they don't want another breakfast, it's gonna take money away from them, okay? And I understand that, but Poppy's Deli is good, so I don't think he'll lose any money. I know the Garinos. My wife has been going to his brother's dentist for the last 30 years, okay? So I understand, and I remember when there was a Carvel on that corner. So that's how far I go back, all right? And because of the Garinos, that's a beautiful establishment and a beautiful block, okay? And I'm not gonna be general, I'm not gonna, you know, people with the signs, okay? Mr. Carino is here. That jerk chicken sign, I always say, you know, coming off the Parkway, big jerk chicken sign. And I love me some jerk chicken, all right? So I'm not talking about not putting up jerk chicken, but that sign is deplorable in the front of the Memorial Field, that's deplorable, okay? So all that needs to be fixed up. But I've been saying to the public for years, okay, and we have a representative from the mayor's office that's here, taking notes, and sitting by his mentor, that has been a voice of Mount Vernon for years, okay? And he ain't no joke. So he's taking this back. I hope he's taking it so he doesn't miss anything, all right? And I've always said to us that what happens is, all this stuff has to go back to the administration that runs the day-to-day operation, okay? Now this person has been in office for almost 3 months. 3 short of funds. Okay? And the same people are sitting here today and saying, you know, this and that about this person, but they're not giving us a chance to really get to the next step, even though we as a council feel he's making blunders as far as not associating himself or dealing with us as a council. And we're trying to be as professional as possible. Believe me, we are. And I see some semblance of you know, trying to get to that point. But we have to understand that, you know, we can't dictate what comes in, all right? I've also said that if we were to enforce everything in our charter, we'd be looking like a police state, okay? Dog walkers, they're not picking up their poop, okay? Literally, in the front of people's houses, putting out garbage on the wrong days of the week, or early in the middle of the day, they put it out for the next day. All those are things that have to be enforced. So be careful what you wish for, because I'm like Andre Wallace, okay?
Stand from your comments, please, folks. Please, no comments until Councilman Edwards is finished.
Thank you, Mr. President. Be careful what you wish for, because when we go to this charter and we start enforcing these things that have been irrelevant over the years, because I absolutely agree, okay, if there are things on the books that are egregious enough to be enforced, then we have to enforce it. That's why we as a council say, yes, we have, if there's a residency law, the only law I recognized was the police commissioner having to live in the city, until Andre Wallace looked that deeper into it and said, no, everybody. Wow. Okay, and I've been here for 10 years, and I say, you've been here for 10 years, didn't know that? The charter is such that you don't know everything unless someone brings it to your attention. That's why you come here and you give us, you know, these things that we have to look into. Once it's made record, then we have to look into it fully, all right? But again, we send it back to the administration, all right? So there's so many things that I'm not going to, you know, Damian Jones. Yes, sir. You know, brother, I called you and said, brother, you know, I want you, because you brought the CCRB, I want you to sit down with me, and you had said, I didn't get your message. But you must have got my message because you mentioned it to me. But you never reached out to me and said, brother, let's sit down. Okay? Yes, I went to the police commissioner because I wanted to make it, you know, let him know that there is going to be a CCRB that's community, help me out, Brother Jones. Community Surveying Complaint Review Board. Okay? You know, absolutely. When we put that in place, it's going to be tight. That's why I'm not rushing it. All right, I'm not rushing it. This has been a problem and something that's been asked for many years. I need Mr. Jones's assistance. I need others' assistance. I need the police department's assistance. No, they're not running it because we're going to put it together. We are the one that legislate. I understand that fully. I know that they don't dictate. They never dictate to me, but I have to ask them because it's going to affect them. So I say, you know, allow us to do it. Those things, there's a lot of complaints that came in that we have to look at and see what we can do today. Because you're absolutely right. They pull those people out and stove, you know, wrong house or something. They said it wasn't a wrong house. You know, we looked into it, but probably the wrong house. I understand what happens in America to black people when it comes to law enforcement. Got it. I'm black too. You know, in case, you know, I understand this, and also being a veteran, all right, fought a war in another country, and we're not getting our rights here. I am, you know, it highly upsets me, but I try to keep myself in line and control. Okay, so the powers of the council, understanding that the powers of the council are to subpoena, bring people and ask questions, but we have little enforcement powers. So what we have to do is go to court. The mayor saying you're wrong, we say no, you're not wrong. We're going by the charter, Mr. Mayor. We're going to court and get that higher authority, which is the American way, to say, Judge, would you please help us, you know, decide this case. And then we have to go through those changes. We have to spend extra money. But this is why there is a law. You know, the law is there for us to be able to get someone to say you're wrong or you're wrong or whatever. Okay? Dr. Basile, thank you so much for your detailed, you know, research. You know, this is not the first speech you put out. I'm very proud of you because I've known you since you was a little boy. So I'm very proud of you, Dr. Basile, you know, and what you bring before us. And we will look into it. You bring it to us, we look into it, we have staff, because we're not full-time. So what we have to do is have staff to help us out. Unless you guys don't give us a raise to be full-time, then we'll try to do it. I'm retired, so I can go full-time. Give me a raise, I don't want a job, okay? Okay, she came in with some, maybe not only her, but that's what I heard. Brother Watson came in. A few of you came in with some specifics, and that's what we're looking for. To help us out with the, helping with the solution, not just telling us the problem. Give us a solution to the problem. And I know someone said, we ain't got to give you a solution, it's up to you, all right? But a lot of things come from the public that help us to understand this and move into the direction that you want it to be. Mr. Tichalis, I saw you today in the hallway, and they said your property is not a zombie property. I heard someone say it. I don't remember who we were talking to. I don't know if it was the controller or who it was, but I know it wasn't. But as far as the towing is concerned, as Councilman Wallace said, that we are looking into it. There was a report that we weren't satisfied with, but we don't do the investigation. But what I did find out, that some people were not legal in their towing operation. Okay, so when you ask for an investigation, when the investigation comes out, some people don't fall by the wayside. Okay, and say because you're not doing the right thing, you have no argument. All right, if everybody's doing it by the letter of the law, then they're fine. All right, unless we find out otherwise, unless we do an investigation and they're absolutely wrong, but we're going by the letter of the law. I've asked Lieutenant Zaidi to look into it and give us a final report. I know you don't like Zaidi, what Zaidi said, yeah, when Officer, forget his name, when he was here, and he was giving people tickets and he was doing things, they might not have liked him, but he, Don Moore, he said they might not have liked him, but he was doing the right job. Okay, so I know you might not agree with that, but I think I've been, Miss Reed. Miss Reed, I came to see you. I spent almost an hour with you. You didn't even mention that to the public that, no, you can't talk now. You get your 4 minutes. I get a little bit more than 4 minutes. But I sat with you. Unfortunately, Ms. Ketchy, our legislative assistant, wasn't there because I wanted her to see some of the things that you were showing me that didn't make any sense to me. And I said that it made no sense to me, Ms. Reed, but I'm going to take your word for it and I'll go back and investigate. We still have to follow it up, but I want the public to know we're looking at what she's asked us to look at. All right, we will. But look at it, she's the only person for that building. And she mentioned that there was a building association meeting there, and there's the president of the association. Where is the president of that building? Coming and complaining. We're going to reach out to her. Because I want to find out what's happening, and not saying I'm not taking your word, but I want to find out what she's saying about this whole thing to kind of bring this thing together to satisfy your needs and satisfy our needs as a council. I didn't touch everything, but I'm sure Lisa Copeland was going to bring up the real and Council President definitely. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. I think at the end of it, where you going? Don't go.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming. It's so interesting when Councilman Wall, when I sat down and looked at the speakers list, and I saw the Burger King, I was like, there's a Burger King coming? And I just, I hadn't heard about it, but, the mayor now has a new planning commissioner, and we're hoping that with that person in place, that the planning board will meet, and we still give it the opportunity to, maybe we can't get it, not stop it from coming, but we can make some allowances so that the traffic, maybe we can push it off of that busy Columbus Stanford and make it go out the back way. I mean, that's part of the planning board, what they do, correct, when people come into the city. But certainly thank you for bringing it to our attention. Now, several of you spoke about the conflict between the city council and the mayor. Now, that's not new. From Mayor Blackwood, from Mayor Davis, from Mayor Young, that historically, that has been here, but in this day and age, because of social media, a lot more is shared with the public. Now, these disagreements have gone on forever, and they probably will continue because they exactly like you say, they're checks and balances, and that's what America was founded for. The legislative branch, we're primarily legislative, as Dr. Donaldson said, but we do have other powers, but we're primarily legislative. And with that, Ms. Reed, I'm going to jump around now. Ms. Reed, I agree with everything that you said, and one of the things that we can look at in terms of these zombie businesses is to work with it, develop legislation. I was playing out in my head when we were talking about with the insurance companies after these fires to rectify it so so that the city may not be liable, but the insurance company rectifies the situation so that we don't have to look at these businesses forever. And I think in the case of South Deli and that, I think that's why theirs moved so fast, and we gotta look at doing that all around the city. So that's one of the things we can do with this council, should work with them. That's important, because no one wants to look at, particularly, you don't want to look at burned out buildings, but to see businesses, you got beautiful businesses, and then you go down and you see, like you call them zombie businesses, which they are. And we certainly don't want to see that. We want our city to be beautiful, and it is. And we have to promote the positive. And where we may not always agree with Mayor Thomas, and let me say this for the record, but we all have meetings with them. We don't always publicize, we talk to each other. But that doesn't mean we agree, we do communicate. We know we don't have to, as you say, sleep together. But there might be differences, even on this council, there's several differences of opinion. We usually don't say them out here, but there are several. We had at 1 o'clock in the morning last night. Most of our committee meetings go to 12 and 12:30, and these Tuesday night meetings and Mondays, because we hash it out amongst each other, and that's important. But with these 5 distinct people, that's going to happen. And with the mayor, it's going to happen. And we're going to work through, but there are going to be differences. And we're all here, we all want the city to be better. And we can't, we got to find a middle ground. And it's not going to be easy, because we're all very strong, minded people. And we have visions that we got to bring together. And it's going to take time, it's going to be growing pains, but we're going to get this. Dr. Dastler, I want to thank you for your document. Obviously, we didn't have a chance to look at it, but I look forward to perusing it. As far as I know, I've heard talk of 50 zombie homes, but to my knowledge, we don't have a list of, so I wish we could get more, but as far as, we haven't seen a list to that effect. But again, even with those homes, we have to work with these insurance companies. We have to develop a way that the city doesn't have to put out all these funds ahead of time and wait.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 7 is for information. Item number 23 is on the agenda. Item number 24 is being held. Item number 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 is all for information. I'm going to call for item number 34. Number 47 is on the agenda. And item number 60, 61, 62, 63, 64 are all for information. I'm calling for number 65. Number 67 is for information. And then I have to add 2 add-ons. The first add-on is being called for, and the second add-on is on the agenda. That completes my report.
Nicely done. Human resources.
Mr. President, I have an item that needs to be on this agenda. On LPW.
Okay, what is that?
The item was vetoed last meeting. Should be item number 16. On the agenda, it should be item number 17. It's a retainer. That item was vetoed by the mayor, and according to the charter, it should be presented to you at the next meeting. It is on the agenda. It is your pleasure, if you will, how you want to move on that. But if you are to override that veto, it will take 4/5 of your body. It cannot be overridden with 3, it must be 4. Excuse me, which item is that? Number 17.
Number 17 on the agenda. That is the ordinance for retainer of a Michelle A. Johnson.
Okay.
Would you like that placed on the agenda, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Human resources.
authorizing the recreation department to co-sponsor Heavy D Day along with corresponding street closure, also May 21st. Oh, did I finish? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that completes my report.
Any add-ons that you have, Marie?
I have two. So I have three.
There's three, one's missing.
Which one did I forget?
Those at the
Oh, and I also have an add-on for the banner for the New York Festival, March 31st through April 2nd.
That's wonderful, you did a great job. Public safety and codes.
Mr. President, before I go into my agenda, the item for the economic conference, the Bridge to Africa, I am the principal, it's non-profit, non-pay. I think I would have to recuse myself from voting on that. Is that, it's just, it's volunteer work that I
Well, as well, hey, we have a real attorney tonight, and that speaks.
I think Councilman had a true recuse himself, because he is directly interested in one of the founders, creators. I understand that there, I don't think there is a monetary piece to it, but still, I think, you know, just because you're interested in it, et cetera, you know.
understood. Thank you. So we have to vote on again.
Is it time sensitive?
No, it's not until May. It's okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 5 is information. Item number 22 is information. Item number 38 is information. Item number 39 is on tonight's agenda. Enumerated as number 12. Item number 40 is information. Item number 41 is being called for. Item number 42 is being called for. I'm sorry, what was that? Yes, being called for. Item number 43 is being called for. Item number 44 is being called for. Item number 45 is being called for. Item number 46, 58, and 59 are for information. And that concludes my, I have one add-on for the police to attend a training in Yonkers for the Guard Army course. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. The ambulance legislation.
Number 12, yeah, that's number 39, I believe.
Excellent, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chip.
Yes, sir. And this is something we're looking at. Which one was, number 39 was for what? Because I was looking at something else. 39 was the report, that's information over the add-on.
That's actually that's on tonight's agenda, and it's actually number 12 on this. Yeah, it was information, but it's been completed, which I'm glad to see, because it's an emergency ambulance service. So that was completed and put on tonight's agenda.
The only thing that you did not see last night was number 18. We received it today. It's about a training for the police department. We got a call late. We had it. There's no need to hold on to it, so we put it on silent. You guys don't know what you put on the floor, but it's on the agenda.
Is that the police block thing or something y'all were talking about?
Yes. That's an add-on. That's a day of meeting add-on. Today is add-on.
Okay. Well, and is there something about the information?
It's just training. It's just they go to training. Yeah, we don't really want to leave out, but they have to make sure they're trained to use it.
But we would like to say, as the rest of the council, the departments have been informed that they should be presenting the legislation in a timely fashion. And even though it's, I believe it's time sensitive, because I believe we don't have another meeting before the training is to take place. It's also needed that they should give it to us, either the last meeting or prior. This time, so you could have it at the time. Because we got this after 5 o'clock. Normally, if the agenda had been done, we do what we're supposed to do and get out of here at 4:30. There's another thing that happened, but fortunately, it called us here and we put it on the agenda.
Okay. All right, well, I don't know.
Thank you. So it's on the agenda. funds.
There were some, there's some more items that came over, and there was a lot of confusion, in putting those items on the agenda.
We're just gonna call for the transfer of funds for now.
They're not on the agenda.
So I'm asking Councilman Edwards, just to, is it okay if we call for the transfer of funds?
Yeah, I think because I think our conversation last fortnight was to, where it was going to. It's been taken out of security for the garages, and I think our concern was what code was it going to be put into?
For the ambulance, so, okay.
Right, to make sure it was used correctly.
Okay, that's fine. I know we had discussion last night, and I know you and Nkechi were working on it today, so I just wanted to be comfortable, that know that you're comfortable.
Yes, absolutely.
That's fine. Excellent. Excellent work, Councilman Edwards.
Thank you.
There's one more
I
thing.
think it's because the sheet is here.
That's good. We were wasting the time last night.
That's probably.
So I think.
Finance or planning?
Thank you, Mr. President. Number 19 is on the agenda. Items 20 and 21 are for information. I'm holding on 35, 36, and 37 are for information. Number 48 is on the agenda. This is the veto item that we spoke about.
Yes, that's the 359 South End.
Right.
Yes, yeah, we present that back to, officially back to the council per the charter. And so it is on the agenda, as number 16 on the
Thank you. Number 49 is for information. I have one add-on. Request for legislation authorizing the controller to retain outside counsel, Lions and Government, LLP. And the other add-on that I had last night, I understand that this property has been closed on, so we do not need to vote on that item.
So I guess we will hold that. Okay, thank you.
And it's my, did I do okay? No.
Yeah, we did, thank you. Right, I was confused. So we're missing items 1 through 18, which are on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Number 1 is being called for, 2 and 4 are for information. Item 8 is being referred to the police department, so that will appear next in the Committee on Public Safety and Codes. Items 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 17 are for information, and number 18 is on the agenda. We did make some corrections to the legislation, but it is on the agenda as number 13.
Enumerated first. Enumerated as number 13. Thank you. Good work.
Now, in terms of the questions on the auction property of co-counsel, excuse me, what? We made some, we took some items off of the auction list.
Right, I understand, and I understand that from Johan, who attended last night. So later this, I think it was this afternoon, I got a final list from the comptroller's office, and I also spoke to the comptroller herself, and I explained that the council had taken some of the items off the auction list, and that it no longer matched their final list. And she said, you know, that we should draft the legislation for the complete auction list, because she said that, you know, even if a property appears on the auction list, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be sold. I relayed this to the council president later on this afternoon, and he stated that if the council wanted to strike it from the legislation, then I guess that's the council's prerogative.
Oh, so I shouldn't have crossed them out already?
Well, if you do, then you should initial it. If that's the council's prerogative.
So let me say for the record, the properties that we took, that were,
Please.
234 East Fifth Street, block 4064, lot 1, 142 South 4th Avenue, lot 3088, lot 14, 152 South 4th Avenue, 3088, lot 18, 147 South 4th Avenue, block 3110, lot 27, and 105 South 4th Avenue, block 3110, lot 41.
Thank you. Can you read those? I missed the 2 and 3.
Okay, 2 is 142 South 4th Avenue,
Got it?
and 152 South 4th Avenue.
Got it.
Even though technically it's no South 4th Avenue, because one crosses it's Bremerton, but that's been my pet peeve for years.
Councilwoman, if you could please just initial, just so there's a distinction.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're saying there's no South 4th Avenue because there's no North 4th Avenue?
Right.
So it's just 142 4th Avenue?
People call it.
Interesting.
But there's no more.
There's no
So
North.
there's Bremerton, not that we want to break that at last night's moment.
Okay,
It's always
I like
been.
it. I like it. Roll call.
Councilman Pusa. Councilwoman Colton.
Present.
Councilman Evans. Present. Councilman Wallace. Here. Council President Griffin.
Here. Legislation and Public Works.
Have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with West Publishing Corporation or Westlaw Next.
So moved.
Second. Second.
On the question? Ms. Arnold. Ms. Johnson. Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing and directing the controller to issue final payment for construction of New York LLC in the amount of $123,764.33. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have an ordinance authorizing the firm of Silverberg and Zelantes to commence action regarding residency requirements. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
An ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a community health and street fair with Magis Yusa Shah.
Second.
So moved.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye. Human Resources.
Thank you, Mr. President.
No, we'll go back to Human Resources.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Community Opportunity Program Incorporated, West Top. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 6, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Family Services of Westchester. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace.
Aye.
Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 7, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept funds from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Substance Abuse, and Mental Health Services Administration. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilman Colton.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye. Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 8, an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor Heaven D-Day with the Mayans Foundation Incorporated. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 9, an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor a Bridge to Africa Economic Summit 2016.
Second.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
I recuse myself because of my affiliation with the organization.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
And I have ordinance number 10, an ordinance granting permission to the Department of Recreation to hang a banner. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
And I have ordinance number 11, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Community College. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Now, this looks to be a great program initiated this year. I think I'm going to ask the commissioner for a report of how it goes. What do you think? So moved.
Second.
I think you want to question.
On the right question?
Yes.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye. Public safety and codes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 12 on tonight's agenda, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Person Ambulance Service. So moved.
Second.
On the question? No comments? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Edwards.
Aye.
Council President Wallace. Aye. Sorry, Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye. Ulysses.
And we would like to thank the police commissioner and, for working, we should say, for working together with us so we can make sure our residents are protected. And I think we've moved pretty quickly to that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Finance and planning.
I have ordinance number 13, an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain real property owned by the city of Mount Vernon and not needed for municipal use. So moved.
Second.
This is a little remodified.
Yes. So I was going to say.
Yes.
On the question, we made a few amendments. I wish I had listened to our court counsel before I used my striker pen. But I'm excited that we have a large quantity of properties that are up and that we have an opportunity to bring some good funds into the city. So, and hopefully make these areas where they're located much better for our residents.
Absolutely. And well, is there any other comments from other members? You just say.
One comment that this is the pieces for that we were talking about last night. My understanding, those other numbers that I had here,
Yes.
are the same numbers, the same, or did any numbers change?
No, I think they're,
5 properties, right?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And being a member and president of the real estate committee, I must because once you start taking proposals from people and bids from people on the side, it gets rather confusing. So I think the cleanest way to sell the property is to go straight to auction, and quite simply, all at one time, the highest bidder wins.
Highest responsible, I believe is correct.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Can you do roll call? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 14, an ordinance authorizing the controller to retain the firm of Lyons Montgomery LLP to provide legal counsel. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I have ordinance number 15, an ordinance granting permission to the payroll administrator to attend the conference. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I need 16, the veto motion. I have ordinance number 16. And, but don't I have an ordinance, ordinance number 16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to convey title to property owned by the city of Mount Vernon and not needed for municipal use, 359 South Fifth Avenue.
Second.
And this item was previously vetoed by the mayor at our last meeting in March 9th.
Can you move that, please? So moved. Is it second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.
I think this one's for council. I guess we're going to do a meeting.
Legislation for the works.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have item number 17, to say a veto, retainer vetoed by the mayor, 31116. An ordinance authorizing the city council to retain the law offices of Michelle A. Johnson, PLLC. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye. And finally, public safety and code.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Item number 18, and last on the agenda, an ordinance granting permission to 4 members of the police department to attend a training class. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Councilwoman Copeland.
Aye.
Councilman Evans.
Aye.
Councilman Wallace. Aye. Council President Griffin.
Aye.